The books in 2024 were very diverse. Lots of interesting authors, different voices that I hadn't read before, and I don't think I realized that until I started doing these reviews here. I read Topics of Conversation by Miranda Popkey in 2024. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, and I wrote this about it after reading. I think this book might be brilliant. I know it was definitely right for me. It's bewildering in a couple of different places, particularly as you begin it, because the thoughts and the conversations dip and dive in directions that become confusing at points. I've seen a number of negative reviews that call out grammar and even compare it to Faulkner, which I didn't find myself, but I certainly caught some deeper meanings from the collection of conversations in what seems to be its scattered selection. So maybe the attribution deserves some thought. There are many ways to read this, and my thoughts about the approach bounced around as I picked up the conversations at varied times through an eventful few months of my life, trying to relate to the world around me. The themes and inferences worked for me in this detached way. It felt deeply authentic, and in review, I think that any confusion I had about the voice and its direction is probably limited by my male gaze. When I tried less hard to figure it out and did a better job of observing and appreciating the perspective, I greatly enjoyed the messages and the stories that Popkey dug in to tell. Her characters are flawed and real and connected by the intersection of their stories here in a both literal and dreamy way. These are tough and deep women's stories. I think everyone can benefit from reading them, but the reviews on Goodreads seem to suggest that casual readers might be disappointed. I'm not like that. I pretty much always want some deeper subtext, and I found it for me with this one. I won't spoil the ending, but I will say that after working my way through these women's tales, a poignant mention of a fictional man felt like it was pointing directly at me. The hard part for me in reading that in this review is that even now 2 years later, I don't remember the ending and I don't remember the message into that poignant mention of the fictional man. But it's a good book, and my 4 out of 5 stars is because I very much enjoyed it. I didn't know anything about it. I don't know anything about Miranda Popkey, but it was different than I expected. This is a book that I picked up, I think, just because I liked the cover. I don't remember. Part of my book circle is reading what my friends are reading and liking on Goodreads, but I don't think that this came from that. But I really enjoyed it, and it was something different than I had totally expected. I start the review by saying I think this book might be brilliant, and I talk about how the conversations, the stories, are connected in both a literal and dreamy way. The brilliance that I'm pointing to there is that I think some of that deeper subtext that is being delivered in the story might be escaping me, but I felt it. I felt the connection that was here, even though I couldn't piece it together like a jigsaw puzzle. I couldn't tell you the direct connection between each of the stories in a book report sort of way, but the emotional way that the stories connected and the inferences from one story to the next about these sort of crises and different tragedies of the women's lives was innovative. And it was told in a way that I hadn't expected. I bring up the idea that casual readers might be disappointed by this because it may seem flat to those people who read it in a very sort of casual or pop fiction kind of way. Like I've said on many of these reviews, I'm not that kind of reader, and so this really worked for me. Not to the point that I'm going to necessarily pick up other Miranda Popkey or even particularly recommend this as a specific book, but it's the kind of thing that if I can lend my voice to the supportive and positive reviews that are out there, it's something that I think people should pick up, especially if you're looking for what I call tough and deep women's stories. It's really good. It's really interesting. It's really hard. It talks about some intense things in women's lives and about aging and about connection and about romance and about time. And that's why ultimately I'm probably limited by my male gaze in the way that I appreciate this book. But objectively, I very much enjoyed it, and I think it's really good. Topics of Conversation by Miranda Popkey. I read it in 2024. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. Till next.